Funny. Oh man, okay. Well, it looks like 1977 and 1978 here, bros, and we got more stuff. All right, so obviously today, 1978 to 1979, or 1977 to 1978. We're gonna watch this, obviously, and we'll see the code or whatever, or the Warzone bunker, and all that good stuff.
Challenger, Enterprise was never in an Earth orbit. Instead, it was used to study the orbiter's flying and landing qualities and aerodynamic properties during airborne glide tests. When the space shuttle circles tomorrow afternoon, she'll be flying piggyback aboard a modified Boeing 747 jet.
J. Edgar Hoover FBI building houses the Bureau's Washington headquarters. Supporting local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, the FBI makes available the most scientific and proficient crime-fighting capabilities ever developed.
I never have to ask around to know what's right for me. I like my fun, I like my friends who keep me company. And when I want some cooling down or picking up, you see, I don't have to think about what to drink, 'cause milk's the one for me.
Milk is the one. Gives me the cold, fresh taste I like, the lift I like.
I don't have to think about what to drink, 'cause milk's the one for me.
Milk's the one.
Oh my, that means we gotta get through all these other tapes too again. Oof. That's gonna be like 20 minutes. That's like 60 minutes, bro. God damn it.
This whole neighborhood, Hutchison Road, has been wiped out. Houses leveled, wires, poles, and power down. You better send everything you can get over here. Everything we got's rolling, 962.
In the morning.
We had a tornado. That would be the understatement of the year. Oh my goodness.
02. That was the number in, was that yesterday? No. Oh, yeah.
Of course, you know by now that Elvis Presley died yesterday. Later today, his body will lie in state at his home, Graceland, in Memphis, Tennessee.
Earlier this week, Democratic congressional leaders urged President Carter to their reform
07.
proposals for a while. They were unsuccessful.
Which was also in yesterday's tape. So 02 and 07 were also in yesterday's tape. 07 actually popped up twice in yesterday's tape.
Welfare Secretary Joseph Califano met with President Carter this morning. He said
see, this is for the next COD. This is the teasers for the next COD.
This week, as planned.
The president's program is going to be as he's promised. It'll be very pro-work. It'll be very pro-family. It'll be very anti-fraud and anti-abuse.
Just days before the message is to go to Congress, a final picture is emerging of what the proposals will contain. The program will require no additional cost during the first year. Work incentives will be provided, but there's no sign there will be enough work to get a large number of people off welfare quickly. Income supplements to the working poor will be determined by both salary and family size. Welfare mothers will not be required to work if their children are under the age of 14. States will receive some financial relief to help pay for welfare programs. How much is not known. Influential congressmen have warned the president that many of these proposals are highly controversial and that action this year is very unlikely.
Curious as to where the next code is going to take everybody.
Preventing war. This is the greatest challenge that our country will face during our lifetime. The energy crisis has not yet overwhelmed us, but it will if we do not act quickly. It's a problem that we will not be able to solve in the next few years, and it's likely to get progressively worse through the rest of this century. We must not be selfish or timid if we hope to have a decent world for our children and our grandchildren. We simply must balance our demand for energy with our rapidly shrinking resources. By acting now, we can control our future instead of
one process.
Matter of fact, it's in the tri-state area of Colorado, Utah, and Wyoming. There are 1.8 trillion barrels of oil in place.
Those numbers seem to be pretty low at the moment.
The recoverable oil from those deposits is probably of the order of 600 billion barrels. Now this is more oil.
Now this is a website
here in these deposits that is calculated to be recoverable than the proven oil deposits of the entire world.
This is a website, so
we waste most of our energy are transportation and our heating and cooling systems. Transportation consumes 26% of all our energy, and as much as half of that is waste. We simply must save.
if you guys are brand new here, we're doing a bunch of content for Call of Duty 2020 when it launches. So if you guys are brand new here, you guys are super excited for Call of Duty 2020 or Black Ops Cold War, whatever it is, make sure you guys definitely leave a like and subscribe, homies.
A stockpile of oil stored in underground caverns called salt domes.
This tape's actually going by way faster than what I thought.
To be drawn on when needed. Maurice Graber, the Department of Energy.
The cavern beneath us will hold about 16 million barrels of oil. The 5 caverns on this complex will store about 60 million as they now exist. The major purpose of the oil storage program is to stockpile a reservoir of oil which will be available in case a shortage develops for any reason.
Good evening. Elvis Presley died today. He was 42. Apparently it was a heart attack. He was found at his home in Memphis, not breathing. His road manager tried to revive him. He failed. A hospital tried to revive him. It failed. His doctor pronounced him dead at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
During the night, one of the jets belonging to Presley brought his former wife, Priscilla, and their daughter, Lisa Marie, to Memphis from California.
You wish you hadn't have taken it?
Well, not particularly. I think after reading the books, I don't think at first, initially, I thought it was going to be damaging, but after I read 4 polygraph books, and
Blackula, what's up, man?
All that damaging because it's not all that exact. And once you read a book, you can't beat the test, but you can keep them from beating you. For instance, you can learn how to breathe and normal things like that.
2 unmanned spacecraft, Voyager 1 and 2, lifted off from Cape Canaveral atop Titan Centaur rockets. Traveling uninterrupted through interstellar space, the Voyagers will endure forever, long after everything man has ever built has crumbled into dust. In the event the spacecraft encounter alien intelligence,
so
both Voyagers
I was
carry a copper
thinking about it yesterday, and I think that these ciphers or the numbers are going to relate to the ciphers like we said yesterday. I just don't know how they're going to transcribe them.
As well as voices.
It'd be crazy if they didn't drop a trailer on the 19th. Or if the 19th is the last day for teasers, then maybe like I don't know, maybe what's 19th? That's a Wednesday, so maybe the 21st, maybe a trailer, but I don't know. That's a Friday.
Skateboard safety is simple. Never ride in the street, and before you take off, put on your gloves, elbow and knee pads, and helmet. It's no fun to wipe out, but if you do, you'll be protected. Safety gear.
one.
more fun on wheels.
There's a key, and it makes it just as simple as can be. Guard your elbows, head, hands, and
If I tried Hyperscape? Nah.
do it for your own security.
It helps a lot. Just in case.
And the shuttle Columbia is due to return to Earth later today, and the weather is cooperating, but there is a potential problem. The hydraulic system is broken down, forcing Columbia to rely on backup systems.
To tell you the complete story of these activities.
We haven't seen the code yet.
We are professing to tell you the complete story that we know. Right. But these records that we've uncovered don't tell the story. They tell pieces of
The buildings behind me were the headquarters for the World War II Office of Strategic Services. It was here that the first halting steps toward mind control began. The shaper and molder of OSS was General Wild Bill Donovan. He said of his group's work, "We may have made mistakes, but we were not afraid to try things that were never done before." In this anything-goes atmosphere, Donovan appointed this man, Stanley Lovell, a Boston industrialist, to break new ground in many scientific and technical fields. Donovan called Lovell his Dr. Moriarty, after the fiendish professor in Sherlock Holmes. Lovell liked the name and posed for this Saturday Evening Post photo. He later wrote of his OSS job that it was, quote, to stimulate the Peck's bad boy beneath the surface of every American scientist and to say to him, throw all of your normal law-abiding concepts out of... Here's a chance to raise merry hell.
Is that 01 twice in a row?
Atmosphere
Juan,
that
what's
the
up,
search
man?
for mind control...
CIA Director Turner said such tests stopped years ago. He said he found it abhorrent to use human beings as guinea pigs.
This note from White's diaries.
Dude, this is so nostalgic.
Regarding TD.
This is so nostalgic.
TD was a rather transparent cover for Truth Drug.
So Jeremiah.
George White worked with the Truth Drug Committee
Lowry,
here
what's
at
up, man?
St. Elizabeth's Hospital in the nation's capital. They experimented with mescaline, scopolamine, and marijuana on unwitting victims. The committee soon learned there was no easy panacea, no truth drug at this stage.
Bro.
White and later colleagues would not
The
stop
fact,
trying.
bro, the fact that they're
The goal
mentioning mind
remained the
control
same.
for the first time
As this 1952
is so crazy. It's so
CIA memo
nostalgic
says,
with Black Ops
the
1,
aim
dude.
is controlling an individual to the point where he will do our bidding against his will.
Bro.
And even against such fundamental laws of nature as self-preservation.
Dude, this
Make
is
up for a
sick.
meet and treat Halloween this year. Meet the neighbors and treat the kids. Keep children out of masks that obscure vision and in short costumes to prevent tripping. Reflective tape makes them glow in the beam of headlights. For fun and safety, accompany children on their neighborhood rounds in the afternoon and early evening. And be sure that all candy is wrapped and sealed. Make Halloween a time to meet and treat. It'll be fun for...
The CIA's interest in LSD was intense. The worry was that the Russians would get hold of it.
Were the Soviets into LSD? I'm going to have to say I'm sure they were, but if you ask me to prove it, I've never seen any direct proof of it.
But at one point, intelligence information received from Switzerland said that Sandoz Laboratories was about to put 100 million doses of LSD on the open market. And it caused enough concern within the agency that the United States was prepared to buy the entire supply.
God damn the nostalgia. Am I ever gonna play the original COD again? I've never played the original COD.
I once thought the women's movement
belong more to my daughters than to me, but I have come to know that it belongs to women of all ages. I am proud to say, and I want you to know, that Texas was the 9th state to ratify the right of women to vote, and the 7th state to ratify the Equal Rights Amendment.
I move the adoption of the following resolution. The Equal Rights Amendment should be ratified.
It was an historic moment 15 years ago today. The world watched as 2 Americans landed on the moon's surface for the first time. The dream had become a reality. It was the fulfillment of a national goal set forth by President John F. Kennedy in 1961.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to
Yes,
achieving
DC.
the goal
We're going, man.
before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him.
Yeah, I didn't
safely
play
to
the original
Earth.
COD.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
There it is.
Neil Armstrong, does it feel like ancient
didn't get the
history
whole
or
thing.
only yesterday?
Well, in many ways it seems like 15 years, but many of the individual parts of the flight I recall as if it were yesterday.
By today's standards, the Apollo technology must seem pretty primitive. Was it part miracle? Neil?
I think it was about 99% dedication of the people who put our spacecraft together and ensured it worked the way it was supposed to work.
Thank you for sharing this anniversary with us this morning. You look fine in business suits. You looked great in spacesuits. We'll be back after a station break.
Anyone else get the code? 'Cause I couldn't see it. So Trish, how you doing, love? The first COD I played was World at War. Showing the Pope, that's in Rome. All right, so that was it. The numbers that we got in this tape were 03, 02, 07, 08, 05, 01, 017, 07. So, I mean, yeah, if we're done with this, that's cool. I don't know where that is. So we're gonna backtrack, and I guess we'll check out the numbers from the other tapes.
The weekly military casualty figures were released today in Saigon. 11 Americans were killed in combat, 20 were wounded. More than 900 South Vietnamese soldiers were killed and more than 3,200 South Vietnamese wounded.
In one important aspect, the offensive has backfired badly on the North Vietnamese. It has harmed them politically inside South Vietnam. For the first time, there is a remarkable degree of political solidarity in the country. President Thieu is firmly in control. The only criticism has come from opposition leaders who felt they had to say something to protect their positions. Even they have not blamed Thieu for the communist successes. President Thieu's position is still largely dependent on the support he gets from Washington. He is the American choice to run Vietnam.
Yeah, I saw it, Thunder. I saw it, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
I don't know when the Nixon. I need more rounds. I don't know when the phone's gonna ring, to be honest.
Provides for the right to vote of all of our young people between 18 and 21. 11 million new voters as a result of this amendment.
A massive shock, rippling out of the mountains just north of the San Fernando Valley. Hitting here, missing there, but shaking most of Southern California. Fires everywhere.
I think Pete's absolutely
How do
right
I feel about Des Bryant working out with the Ravens? Hey man, I would love to see him play for us if he can catch the ball.
Really adequately
if he can catch the ball and if he can play it at a top level, then I don't mind it.
Under zero gravity for long periods. So we really don't know what's going to happen to the guy in the long term. And this is probably, to my mind, the single most important thing that we've got to do in Total Skylab is find out whether man himself does have a future in space.
All right, Allie, have a good one.
Of making long journeys to somewhere else.
Now people are beginning to pick up the pieces.
What are you looking for down there?
Money and
I am not a crook.
all sorts of things like spoons, forks, and knives, parts of mirrors, parts of plates, razor blades.
Have you found anything?
Yep, money, spoons, razor blades.
How much money did you find?
$4.98
How long are you going to keep digging?
till I have to go home.
I will only say that I've had some experience, and a great deal of experience, as a matter of fact, in this past year in dealing with communist leaders. I find that making a bargain with them is not easy.
That was in the numbers yesterday.
Only when you have something they want to get from you. The only way we're going to get our POWs back is to be doing something to them, and that means hitting military targets in North Vietnam, retaining a residual force in South Vietnam, and continuing the mining of the harbors in North Vietnam.
Apollo 16 lifts America back into space and gives our astronauts a dune buggy tour of lunar land.
Okay. I think that it's interesting to consider what Margaret Mead said about women who are honored in authority in this country. She said that, in fact, widows are the only such women, because what you have to do is be married to a man who has a certain position, live out your role of childbearing and housekeeping. Then, through no fault of yours, he dies. And then alone, is it all right for you to take over his job? We've decided that that's awfully hard on the men.
Where's isn't B7 like E7 is this is storage, so E7 has to be like, where's B7 at?
At this rally in Silver Spring, Maryland, Governor Wallace's campaign is crushed by violence. Arthur Bremer, seen applauding a 21-year-old busboy, uses the cover of the crowd and the confusion to get close enough to the candidate for an attempted assassination.
Today was the critical operation for the governor to remove a bullet lodged near his spinal column and to find out whether the bullet had cut his spine.
That's a new number. That wasn't after 25 before then. Because after 25 yesterday was 9. I'm sure we'll get 54, then 9, then 54 again probably.
A man arrested trying to bug the offices of the Democratic National Committee in Washington turns out to be an employee of President Richard Nixon's re-election campaign committee. And
As
perhaps a
Marquise
significant day
and
for the
Lamar,
Vietnam
yeah,
peace
bro.
negotiations, the president of the Soviet Union has left Hanoi saying they will resume soon.
Mother Nature unleashes the fury of Hurricane Agnes across 4 states: Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and New York. 134 lives are lost. Thousands are homeless. Runs into the millions.
I can assure you that as Secretary General of this organization, I am deeply worried about this development. It is extremely serious. And
Do you guys know? Can someone figure out where
on my own, I want
E7
to
is?
stress this,
I don't know. I don't know where it is.
This question of terrorism and acts of violence on the agenda of the next General Assembly.
Next stop, Moscow. Purpose, a summit meeting between President Nixon and Soviet leaders Brezhnev and Kosygin. Agreement is reached on limitations of nuclear weapons, the sale of American wheat to the Soviets, and a trade of beverages, our soft drinks for their vodka.
What number was that? I didn't see that.
Another victory for personal diplomacy on a global scale.
In a field 4 miles from London Airport. The tail section was intact, but the body of the plane was demolished.
With the Paris peace talks stalled, the Vietnam War worsens. Responding to a devastating Viet Cong offensive, President Nixon orders new measures.
All entrances to North Vietnamese ports will be mined to prevent access to these ports and North Vietnamese naval operations from these ports.
But Gordon wasn't in Hanoi. He started to talk about a new peace effort. He said the visit was successful and that the Soviet Union will do everything it can to bring about a de-escalation of the Vietnam War.
Paris continues to be the focal point of world attention. American negotiators arrive for another in a long series of peace talks with the North Vietnamese.
Bottom left of the map, so like Promenade West / Hills. Wait, really? Oh yeah.
Presidential aide Henry Kissinger, a key
Interesting.
figure in the lengthy and complex conferences, sounds a
Is
premature.
it in the back of the bunker of Promenade West?
Federal indictments.
Next to racetrack?
Washington today in the Watergate bugging affair.
In spite of the increased security, West Germany continues to offer political asylum to hijackers from communist countries. Just last week, the West German government refused to return 10 Czechoslovakians who killed a pilot during their hijack escape to the West.
As you know, I will soon be visiting the People's Republic of China, the Soviet Union. I go there with no illusions. We have great differences with both powers. We shall continue to have great differences. But peace depends on the ability of great powers to live together on the same planet despite their differences. We would not be true to our obligation to generations yet unborn if we
Yeah, I was gonna say
fail
Noah
to
J probably
seize
made it
this
there and then
moment
got killed seconds
to
after.
do everything in our power to ensure that we
That's
will
crazy,
be
bro.
able
That's
to
so
talk
neat.
about
That's
those
so. That's why I don't. That's why I'm not
differences
doing it
rather than
anymore.
fight about them in the future.
Peking, historic site for an unprecedented meeting between East and West. Responding to a special invitation, President and Mrs. Nixon arrive, and Premier Zhou Enlai is on hand to extend an official welcome to the presidential couple.
Bunker just seems to look like the other
It's
bunker.
Mr. Nixon's initial move toward his self-proclaimed goal, a generation of peace. A confident president, anxious to end the diplomatic freeze between the United States and China. Mao. Top
Someone
aide
let me know what
Henry
numbers
Kissinger
those are,
joins the
okay?
Talks with Premier Zhou Enlai on Vietnam and East-West
Oh
trade.
shit. The
First Lady views
there seems to be the
giant
wheels,
pandas, a
the
gift
wheels
to the
of the
People's
RCXD is in this
Personal
bunker.
Presidential diplomacy tentatively parts the bamboo curtain.
$50. I'm like looking at it on Twitter. So if you guys go on Twitter, you guys go on Charlie Intel.
Of U.S. military actions in Vietnam, and revealing he brought
shows,
back assurances from Hanoi about the release of American prisoners
it shows
of war.
that the wheels of the RC car and batteries and like all that stuff.
Well over an hour with the Prime Minister.
In this bunker.
2 hours and 45 minutes with the
just piecing it all together.
Foreign Minister, and I've got both verbal and written assurances about the prisoners.
Clarence Kelly, the president's choice to be permanent head of the FBI, cleared the Senate Judiciary Committee today. We'll have reports tonight on the economy, and we'll see what happened to a fat man who had part of his insides cut out in an effort to be a thin man.
Massive crowds take to the streets of the Egyptian capital. Euphoria. After 5 lean years, there are signs that Egypt is about to stand on its own feet. They are cheering this man. It was then that President Anwar Sadat dropped his diplomatic bomb. He announced that the Russians had been asked to withdraw their Egyptian soil after nearly a decade of Soviet-Egyptian cooperation.
Televised violence can increase aggressive tendencies in some children. We will have to manage our program.
I congratulate you for that.
Let me know what these numbers are. I'm trying to do something real quick.
Ballot of the International Olympic Committee. Out of 70 ballots, 36 were to withdraw the invitation to the Rhodesian team, 31 were for maintaining it, and 3 were blank. This means the invitation to the Rhodesian team to participate in the games of the 20th Olympiad has been withdrawn.
The Rhodesians left angry. Representatives of Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and Uganda were jubilant. The expulsion of Rhodesia culminated a campaign that saw American black athletes pledge to walk out with the Africans. Now their teams, they say, will unpack their suitcases, give up their threatened boycott, and the Summer Olympics can go.
Munich houses the Olympic flame as athletes from all over the globe gather for the traditional games. Officials hope that world tensions will not create an incident.
The President's press secretary said of this incident, "I'm not going to comment from the White House on a third-rate burglary attempt. Obviously," he said, "we don't condone that kind of second-rate activity." There was little Republican reaction today to the charges that they mounted a massive intelligence and sabotage operation against the Democrats.
Without moving a chess piece, he emerged world champion. Spassky had phoned the judge and conceded. With a stronger position, Fischer had achieved at adjournment the night before.
In Paris,
Close to the top left of the
Kléber,
TV
in a
is
former
Activision's
Gestapo
first game in
headquarters,
1982.
Politicians have been talking for 4 years about ending a war. The truth of the matter is that the Paris peace talks, hailed as a major breakthrough in 1968, have by 1972 achieved nothing. The delegates still turn up, make accusatory speeches, and leave. And yet in other parts of Paris, secret meetings between Americans and North Vietnamese did attempt to break the deadlock. The American initiative was led by President Nixon's special advisor, Dr. Henry Kissinger. Since 1970, he has met North Vietnamese leaders 12 times. At their meetings, he offered much of what the communists demanded: the withdrawal of American forces and new elections in South Vietnam. But all offers were rejected or ignored, and the whole American formula...
Is it the part of another elevator? Actually, if you look around, there's the RC car wheels. I think that's pretty cool, too. That gets me a little excited. And, like, Honestly, this got me more excited than any of the other ones because number one, the mind control stuff. That's literally ripped BO1 right there, Black Ops or the original Black Ops. Just the mind control stuff, you know, Mason being brainwashed and all that stuff. And then the bunker has the RC car wheels in them, which is really cool too.
Are you ready to take the constitutional oath? If you will
Hey,
place
nice,
your
Tal,
left
nice
hand
dude.
on the Bible
Thanks,
and
man.
raise
Appreciate
your
you using the
right
code.
hand, and please repeat after me.
I forgot about that. Yeah, man. You gotta look into all that stuff, man.
Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
That I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Preserve and protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. So help me God. So help me God.
Yo, what's up, Arcade?
Alexander Butterfield drops a bombshell. The president has secretly taped all of his White House conversations, including those involving Watergate. The president had already installed a new attorney general to handle Watergate. Harvard law professor Archibald Cox becomes special prosecutor. Picking up the gauntlet, Cox goes before Sirica to subpoena.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Logic. Honestly, I was thinking that a lot.
Confidentiality to deny Cox's demand. Sirica owes Cox.
Better be the biggest RC car in the world? Bruh, come on now.
The departure of Cox and Richardson draws a fierce storm of protest. The president backs down.
Is there a code for Respawn products? Yeah, that's code Foxy for Respawn products, yep.
Tapes mysteriously disappear. In 18 minutes of another tape turn up blank. Pressed for an explanation, Presidential Secretary Rosemary Woods blames it on a variety of miscues.
I feel like they're going to show some gameplay when the screen goes black. What do you mean?
Rodino is convened to consider
when? Yeah, I don't think any more numbers pop up. What are we watching? This is we're watching the tape from yesterday. It's a version 2 of the tape.
The president
so
was involved, but he did not.
The TV starts glitching like that. Nah.
At any time, the implications of his involvement.
They wouldn't do gameplay through
I
that.
think that when the facts come out,
they would have a. They wouldn't do gameplay before all that.
We went on the pay board in an effort to try to make the controls work. But it's now very clear that there's no.
I feel like the last bunker that we have to open will be this room that this person is in, low key. Maybe. I don't know. That would be kind of cool in my opinion, but.
In the House of Representatives, there is not a member left who thinks the president will not be impeached, and apparently not many who will side with him when it comes to a vote.
All right, cool. That's the end of that.
For it seems now more certain than ever that the bloody experience of Vietnam is to end in a stalemate. But it is increasingly clear to this reporter that the only rational way out then will be to negotiate, not as victors, but as an honorable people who lived up to their pledge to defend democracy and did the best they could.
I am announcing today my candidacy for the presidency of the United States. I do not run for the presidency merely to oppose any man.
I don't know.
But to propose.
I feel like the numbers are definitely for the ciphers, but
it just seems to me.
I also feel like
required in the United States is not what Vice President Humphrey has said, which is the politics of joy and the politics of happiness, but the politics of reality. what the problems are in the country. I mean, it's all fine that we have all of these. Thank you. You come with me.
Mountain Dew ad, which ironically is like very close to the 1 minute 15-second mark.
January 1968, the Tet Offensive. Suddenly, the enemy finds new strength to strike, denying all American tales of progress.
Vietnam is racked by battle. Saigon is scorched.
United States bombers continued their raids against the North. Our military called the attacks necessary, but Hanoi said that no peace talks could begin until the bombing stopped.
In Morocco's capital city of Rabat, crowds estimated at over 1 million jammed the route of the funeral procession of King Mohammed V.
Yeah, both JFK and his brother were assassinated.
President Bourguiba helped carry the bier.
Fucking crazy. I think he had multiple brothers though. Robert Kennedy was killed by the mob, I'm pretty sure.
Curfew throughout the city and the imposition of martial law.
He was assassinated though.
American Armed Forces radio station because his own Saigon.
What if those numbers lead to an activation of the nuke found in the bunker? But like the thing about that is,
ordered our aircraft and our naval vessels to make no attacks on North, except in the area north of the
that 9 is new. The thing about it is, there's so many numbers. There's so many that like, I think the numbers are definitely for the cipher. So homies, if we could hit like 175 likes, we have over 200 people in here. If we could hit 175 likes, we greatly appreciate it, homies.
His generals report they need 200,000 more men in Vietnam. These troops he sends to war are fellow citizens. Their warm and precious lives pledged to a cause that many of their countrymen wish to yield. Courage to persist is of the essence of a leader. Courage to stop.
Yeah, Trey, that could be it too. I think that probably will happen, but I don't know, man.
For the 8th day in a row, fighting continues here in the Cholan district. Now, since the communist offensive, almost every city and town in South Vietnam is cut off from the others.
President II of South Vietnam said
I think it's
today
weird
that
how they don't
anyone who
talk about the
advocates a
death of
coalition
JFK and they don't
government for
talk
his
about the
nation
death
is a
of
traitor.
Robert Kennedy either.
That it will give North Vietnam a total of $45 million in aid and long-term credits.
The minority chants its protest.
That's new.
I say that when respect for the United States
Campaign gonna be shorter than the time for the teasers to come out. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that Modern Warfare's campaign was short. But then again, I'm used to like Halo games being really short, to be honest.
Then it's time for new leadership.
You guys, we're like 7 likes away from 175. If you guys could leave like it'd be awesome.
10, 9. We have ignition sequence.
The 24 is not new either.
The engines are on.
10 was though.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have commit. We have liftoff at
4 is new.
7:51 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have cleared the top.
Tower clear, 13 seconds.
Apollo 8, Houston. Apollo 8.
Come on, guys. We got what, like 240 people in here?
Apollo 8, Houston.
240 people? If you guys could get to 175 likes, it'd be awesome, homies.
Loud and clear.
Roger. Please be informed there is a Santa Claus.
That's affirmative. You're the best one to know.
As Foreman, Lovell,
Is the campaign like 3 hours? See, I didn't. I didn't see. This is the thing. I don't rush through campaigns like that. I like to explore and kind of like go through it and see what happens and stuff. You know. It took me like 2 days, but I didn't play it like nonstop. You know.
One step on the moon. What do you think of it?
I can't believe in how short, just 8 years, how long we just made us. We beat the Russians and everything. We can't believe it, that it just happened. And we can see it in our lifetime. And how much that we'll probably see, that my whole lifetime, more.
Wasn't there was a number that stopped in between her yesterday. Like in between like her talking, a number popped up in between her stuff yesterday. But it didn't today.
For the first time since the Civil War, soldiers must defend the capital. Machine guns
version
turned
3.
upon Americans whose laws no longer bind.
Yeah, Trey, exactly. Yeah, Mike, we already saw the code. What's up, Josh? How you doing, man? As we're 4 likes away from 175.
Люди прочли в газетах, услышать по радио, как космический корабль пилотирует разгонивый советский.
Most likable part about the campaign was when Ghost Soap. It was where Soap and Ghost were mentioned. I don't know if that was the most likable, but I thought the Modern Warfare campaign was awesome. Yo, Tony, what's up, man? How you doing, my man? It's good, Josh. I'm glad, man. I'm glad. 25 again.
The feeling that I had when I won the Olympics was a feeling so proud and just wanting to belong to the country. And it's the most wonderful feeling anyone could ever have.
The tragic news from Czechoslovakia shocks the conscience of the world. The Soviet Union and its allies have invaded a defenseless country to stamp out a resurgence of ordinary human freedom. It is a sad commentary on the communist mind that a sign of liberty in Czechoslovakia is deemed a fundamental threat to the security of the Soviet system.
We don't know, DR. But we'll be covering it, so if you're brand new here, make sure you subscribe. We'll be covering it over here on the channel. Foxy, I love the vids. Can I get a nice one time? Nice!
Tam v těchto chvílích stojí prezident republiky Ludvík Svoboda, který zhruba před 25 lety bojoval v I když už po 2. hodině noční, například ředitele spojů Hoffmana, byly vypnuty vysílače. Později se však statečným spojařům podařilo spojení znovu navázat a rozhlas mohl vysílat dál zprávy o napadení Československa.
I shall not seek. And I will not accept.
Campaign has its disturbing moments, like when you play as a Farrah as a child and when you get the guy and bring his wife and kid in. I mean, and the fact that Piccadilly literally got shot up. I mean, but see, like, I feel like COD games need that, bro. It needs to have balls.
The Republican draws 400,000 people. A triumphal first week carries him from Chicago to San Francisco and back across the land. Buoyant, wherever he campaigned.
I've always said that, and I preached that last year. I was like, I need Modern Warfare to have balls as far as campaign goes. And it did. And you know what? I like the game more because of that. Unfortunately, now, a lot of people don't look at the campaign as part of the game anymore. They just look at the multiplayer and they go, oh, Modern Warfare is trash. You know? But if you look at the game as a whole, it's not too bad, in my opinion. I don't like how people play a multiplayer, but you know, it is what it is, and it's not too bad, in my opinion.
Marines and airborne vanished into the communist line.
We are 3 likes away from 175, homies. If we could hit that like goal, that'd be awesome. Well, it's not new either.
The attack, allowing the populace a chance to escape.
American youth today has its fringes, but that's part of the greatness of our country. I have great faith in American youth. The youth of today can change the world.
And if they understand that, I think that we're going to go forward to a great age, not just for Americans, but for peace and progress for all the people in the world.
Any guess on who's coming in season 7? I don't think there's going to be a next season, to be honest. With the way it's lining up, I don't think there's going to be a next season. Maybe Warzone season, but not. I don't know about Modern Warfare. Do you record videos? Well, I kind of record and stream at the same time. Guys, we got 176. Thank you guys so much for 175 likes. You guys are awesome. How do you guys feel about night mode in Warzone? No, thank you. I can barely see anyone now, let alone if it went at night. The 13 was in there yesterday. What's this? These are just like teasers for the next COD.
This game depends, however, on his unwritten alliance with Reagan. Announcing open candidacy, Reagan now speeds from caucus to
G-Man,
caucus.
what's up, man?
If Reagan can persuade his southern friends
You guys
to
are
break their
awesome.
prior
We hit 180. We're like 2 likes away from
the
180.
convention will come apart.
You guys are brand new here. Night mode would be good. No. I disagree. I will disagree with that. It would be even more campy than it already is, and it just wouldn't be fun. No one would move. Everyone would sit in buildings. Like, it would just be. No. I can barely see it now. You know, I can barely see people now, let alone when I'm trying to like run around and stuff like let alone run around in the dark, you know? Bring the night mode. They would have to separate it. They would have to separate it.
Hooker and his crew were met by relatives in San Diego. After a tearful reunion, the men unfolded.
They would definitely have to separate them.
Of the communists bent on extracting confessions. Weeks of probing lay ahead, but for the Pueblo crew, it was a time for rejoicing and sorrow.
I disagree.
Grief for the one ship.
Astronauts Neil
The thing about it is, like, they would have to make the nighttime map bright. They can't just make it dark and realistic. That's the problem. The stuff in this game, the stuff in this game, as far as like the maps go, is super realistic. So they would make the nighttime literally as realistic as possible. There would be no lights. There would be no. They would literally be pitch black. Yo, Shadow Ninja, what's up, dude?
They must work in a weightless environment, keeping their spacecraft and themselves in good condition. Data must be collected.
This is day 4, right? Yeah, Big Bones, yeah.
Experiments must be performed.
They get its own mode, like Mini Royale. Yeah, if they separated the modes, then, you know, that's fine. But I just feel like they wouldn't do it the way that, I don't know, it just doesn't look like, I don't know. Like, I don't know, like, for me, it wouldn't work because they would literally make the outside pitch black, probably. Yeah, Sugi, I mean, like, there's night mode in this game, too, but, like, still, you know?
The new communist campaign in Vietnam continues. Just after
I just don't think it would work in Modern Warfare.
Viet Cong raiders
See you, Kev. Have a good one, brother.
And attacked 2 police stations in Saigon. Other small bands still roam the city.
Hamburger Hill was the biggest.
Like everyone's seen how night mode goes now, and it's just not for me. I just don't think it would do well.
Operation was not the hill, but control of the Asha. The main.
You should make Warzone have more game mode options. What do you mean by more game mode options?
After the 101st Airborne Division troopers wrested Hamburger Hill from the enemy.
Exactly, visibility in Modern Warfare is bad enough, so you know.
The 10-day offensive against the dug-in enemy cost 55 American lives and 300 wounded. Enemy losses are put at 400.
And then, you have to factor in the windows, not being able to see people through windows already, and then putting nighttime in that. Like, I just feel like, no, that just wouldn't work for me.
Survive the end of the war.
I think this is it. I think that's it. I don't think there's any more numbers. They only added like 2 numbers in this.
Defeating the French, he fought the U.S. and her allies for 9 years.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yeah, they added like 3 numbers. I don't think that there's any more at least. But we'll watch till the end. We've already watched enough.
To reduce tensions around the world.
God damn, bro. Like I really feel like I'm in a history. Yeah, they are, Shadow. Yeah. It's so crazy how I literally watching this. It literally feels like school every day. Like and like watching just the same stuff every single day. But it doesn't feel like school, you know. I mean, it kind of does, but it doesn't too much because it's like for the game. So.
A lot of people get jittery and they seem
just play outside at night for night mode. If I played Infected, yeah, I played the nighttime Infected.
The strongest nuclear power in the world, and we won't use any weapons unless we have to. But we will use any weapons if necessary to protect America and her people.
More than 350,000 people, mostly young people, showed up to hear the greatest rock groups in the country. The promoters billed it as 3 days of peace and music, and for most people, it was just that. Little thanks to the promoters. There were many problems, like not enough sanitation facilities, food, or
This is awesome. Yeah, I like this. I mean, I like it for the most part, you know.
It'll be 2 or 3 days before all the people leave the peace and quiet of the Catskill Mountains. It may be longer before this area returns to normal. Despite the problems, and there were many problems, though they were not...
Tablets or liquid.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Underneath it says, "Here men from the planet Earth first set foot upon the moon, July 1969 AD. We came in peace." I guess you're about the
Night mode was the big flop.
TV coverage of the scene.
I don't know. I feel like, I mean, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it does feel like one of those historic museums. How do you feel about the Howling Wolves, zombies, or Easter eggs? What do you mean, Anthony?
Yes, indeed. They've got the flag up now, and you can see the stars and stripes on the lunar surface.
Ground War is kind of bad / eh. I feel like Ground War, I said this when we played the game a year ago. I said the Ground War feels like, Ground War feels like,
at home in peace, but it will not last long. The schedule in front of them is in some ways more arduous than their trip to the moon.
Oh yeah, sorry. My bad. Sorry, Tony. All right, that's the end of that tape. So, yeah, there was only like 3 numbers added to this one. We're gonna play the first one, but it's version 4. So then I think I'm gonna get off after this. But crazy how this is like a version 4 of this.
The French army has seized Algeria in its revolt against de Gaulle. More on that later. In Laos, the government's army suffered its worst defeat of the Civil War, evacuating its last stronghold in north-central
People would hear zombies music loading in the war zone. That's a lie. Modern Warzone is, I know who reported on that. Modern Warzone is the one that reported on that, and that's been in the game since launch. So, yeah.
Chicago, the Windy City, is both windy and snowy in the wake of a storm which leaves more than half a foot. Temperatures drop to 0 during the storm. San Francisco gets the heaviest snow in 30 years. Children, many of whom have never seen snow before, are more spellbound than snowbound. But they soon learn what
See you, Shadow. Have a good one, man.
I, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, do solemnly swear
Yeah, he's reaching on that one, bro.
The office of President of the United States.
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States
And will, to the best of your ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the
Yeah,
United
old
States.
Ground War was lit. 8v8, 9v9, whatever it was. I love that. But this game, like, I like 10v10. I just don't like the maps for 10v10.
And so,
If that makes sense.
my fellow Americans, ask not
For the most
your
part.
country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
British Prime Minister Harold Macmillan arrives in Key West, Florida for a conference with the president on the
Dude, that's been in the
explosive
game
crisis in
since
Laos.
launch, bro.
They jointly declare determination
I'm letting
to
you know
prevent
that's been in the
Southeast
game
Asian
since the
kingdom
game
from
started.
being taken over by communist-supported rebels. Also discussed is Britain's ceasefire proposal to Moscow.
It's literally been in the game since Warzone started.
Willing to agree to a ceasefire in Laos.
People just don't pay attention to it. And now that these teasers are coming out, they're like, oh my god. And then like you got Modern Warzone who's over there, and he's like trying to like stir the pot a little bit, saying, oh yeah, like, oh dude, this has never been in the game before. It's like, yes,
Here
yes
was
it
a new
has
symbol
actually.
of communist ruthlessness. Overnight, East Berlin became a concentration camp, sealing in the inhabitants
Why are
of
they
that
writing
sector.
down the numbers again?
Barbed
I feel like the
wire
numbers are
and
for the
cement
ciphers.
were the answers to
you know?
the refugee
The cash.
problem.
Khrushchev repeats his threat to sign a separate peace treaty with East Germany, which he claims, wrongly, rights in Berlin.
Served with an order by East German authorities that all U.S. personnel must show identification
Onion Palace is
before
trash.
entering
Facts.
that section of Berlin. American
I feel like all the
troops enter
10v10
with
maps
the
are pretty
only language the left
bad.
need to understand, a show of
I
arms.
mean, I don't know. They're incredibly, like, they're so easy to spawn trap, you know? Whereas, like, if you look at a map like Wasteland isn't super easy to, I mean, it's easy to spawn trap, but, like, you can, at least you have some wiggle room to get out of the spawn, whereas you don't really have that on, like, say, Euphrates Bridge or something like that. That 52 is new.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal
Before this decade is out, of landing a man
What I
on the
noticed,
moon and
Day 4 didn't
returning
have the number
safely
25
to
in
the
it.
Earth. No single space project in this period will be more impressive to mankind or more important for the long-range exploration of space. And none will be so difficult.
Yeah, I don't mind
or
Arklov Peak.
expensive to
That's not bad.
The assault has begun on the dictatorship of Fidel Castro. Cuban army pilots opened the first phase
Maybe
of
Cash, I
organized
don't know,
revolt
bro.
with bombing raids on 3 military bases.
In Havana, acting Foreign Minister Olivares shows diplomats rockets fired from the Cuban raiders, which he claims have U.S. marking.
These charges are totally false, and I deny them categorically. The United States has committed no aggression against Cuba, and no offensive has been launched from Florida or from any other part of the United States.
Es un honor para mí el estar hoy entre un grupo de los hombres más valientes del mundo.
Castro gloated over his victory and told the world that Cuba was now a socialist nation.
How long is this one is 19 minutes, so
The next day,
I'm just keeping track of the numbers in this one. This is the last one. That was in the one yesterday.
When the Russians pushed
52 was new.
He was Yuri Gagarin, the astronaut the Russians lionized as the first to
93, that's not new.
coup of the year.
Today, this Redstone Mercury is the center of world.
Yeah, homies, if you guys could hit that like button, it'd be greatly appreciated. If you guys are brand new here, make sure you guys do subscribe, turn on notifications, all that good stuff.
It's 6:20 a.m., a moment of history. 2, 1, 0. rocket performs perfectly as it lifts the funnel-shaped capsule gracefully along.
115 miles up, he went 300 miles downrange, right on target, and was picked up by waiting helicopters.
It's not new either.
Triumph of Alan B. Shepard, U.S. space pioneer. As the captain prepared to leave the capsule, explosive bolts on the escape hatch let go, and the Mercury is lost. However, the moon gets closer.
Albany, Georgia. A Negro nation is led by the Reverend Martin Luther King.
That number's new. 71.
And if necessary, we must be willing to fill up the jails all over the state of Florida.
Солнце. Шар превращается в колоссальный светящийся купол. Яркое свечение еще продолжается. В этом опыте оно длится необычайно долго. Путь страшной силы напутствует приходу ударной волны.
Just why the Soviet Union would wish to detonate a megaton explosion, something about which we can all speculate.
At Oxford, integration at the University
These
of
are not
Mississippi
short, guys. They're actually long. Yeah, they're pretty long. They're about 20 minutes apiece. It's like kind of sucks, but
U.S.
whatever.
Marshals blocked. When university officials are cited for contempt of federal court, Governor Ross Barnett personally Negro applicant. Meredith goes away, and the federal government ponders its next move. The forces increased tenfold and more. It is not enough to avert a night of rioting, leaving 2 dead, and the campus the shambles of a battlefield. "75 students and other rioters are arrested. Among those seized, former Major General Edwin Walker, who is charged with insurrection.
Is this the last
And
date?
James
No.
Meredith becomes a duly registered student at
Tomorrow's
the
will be the
University
same
of
and
Mississippi.
longer. I mean, yes, today's wasn't that bad. Today's was like maybe 15, 16 minutes.
Feelings of guilt, have you given it any second thoughts?
I'm very sorry that anyone had to get hurt or killed. But of course, I think that's an unfair question to me. I don't believe any of you believe that I had anything to do with that.
President Kasavubu is in Leopoldville on his return from a conference of Congolese leaders in Madagascar, at which it was agreed to convert the republic into a loose confederation. The streets are jammed for a parade in celebration of the decision. But red opposition to the plan is heated, and the pro-Soviet Antoine Gizenga, Lumumba's political heir, still controls key areas and sizable armed forces. The Congo's problems are far from over.
Vienna was a
Yeah, it
neutral
is,
arena
Josh.
for a
Yeah, it's
sparring
history.
match between 2 worlds. The men
It was
who
a hype
held
at
the power
first.
to
Now
write tomorrow's
they just
history
dragging it.
met,
I
smiled, and resolved
feel
no problem.
indifferent. I feel that. I feel what you say when you say that.
St. James Church in the Hudson River hamlet
But
of Hyde
at the
Park
same
is the
time,
scene of
that
last
37's
rites
new.
for the first lady of the world, Eleanor Roosevelt.
I feel like I feel like it's a little draggy. But at the same time, I think it's about to get good, because I think it's about to get even better, because 77-78 is when they started the 77-78 tape is when they started talking about the mind control and all that stuff, and that has very similar relations. It's got very close relations with the original Black Ops game, so that got me really excited, low key, that got me pretty excited.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills, because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win, and the others too.
In the Cold War, the ground forces of NATO have been alert against the military threat of the communist bloc. Now, honest John missiles add to NATO's striking power.
President Kennedy begins a tour of 4 space installations at Huntsville, Alabama, where he is greeted by Dr. Werner von Braun, space pioneer and director of this research and development center. The missiles on display are dwarfed by the mighty Saturn rocket. This booster is the first stage of the rocket that will put the 3-man Apollo capsule into a 2-week orbit of the Earth.
How they make this game? I don't know, bro.
Preliminary to a lunar shoot. Gemini, which was developed here, will allow 2 men to orbit the Earth for 2 weeks and will be used for experiments in outer space rendezvous and
yeah, dude, like the original Black Ops vibes are insane in this, especially with the 77-78 tape.
The first deficit comes from a recession. If we can take the proper action in the proper time, this can be the most important step we can take to prevent another recession. That is the right kind of a tax cut, both for your family budget and the national budget.
Chiang Kai-shek, leader of the peoples of Free China on the island of Taiwan, heads the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the overthrow of the Manchu dynasty. 11 million Chinese, strong with their dream of someday
the original Black Ops
wresting
campaign
from
is
the
just
communists,
so good.
are marking the day that saw the end of 4,000
So
years
good.
of monarchy in China.
Khrushchev declared,
that's new.
Through the formation of the world system of socialism, the situation in the world has altered radically. At present, it is not circles whom. On December 2nd, 1961, Castro reveals, I am a Marxist-Leninist and will be one until the day I die. Socialism is a word. There is no halfway between socialism and imperialism.
The 28's new.
This government, as promised, has
Wait, no, it's not.
maintained the closest surveillance of the Soviet military buildup on the island of Cuba.
28 was the last number in the past one. So
a strict quarantine on all offensive military equipment under shipment to Cuba is being initiated.
no, Josh, this is not
All
gameplay.
ships of any kind bound for Cuba, from whatever nation or port,
Hell yeah, Uprising. Hell yeah,
whether
dude.
found to contain cargoes of
If you know, you
offensive
know.
weapons, be turned back.
JFK, Nixon,
Shall be the
Castro,
policy of
and
this nation
who else was
to
it?
regard any nuclear missile
JFK,
launched from Cuba
Castro,
against any nation in
Nixon,
the Western Hemisphere
and
as an attack by the Soviet Union on the United States, requiring a full retaliatory response.
who else was
from the
it?
Soviet Union.
It was Nixon,
Communism's
Castro.
adventure in Cuba is a sophisticated one. Political, psychological, subversive, with paramilitary features. Can a democratic society, wherein the right to know and the value of knowing are basic, can a democratic society wage successful political, psychological, subversive warfare against communism?
Leather is falling into step in the fall fashion parade.
Who was the last
Finished in
character?
an
I
explosion
can't
of
remember.
rainbow colors, leather
Yeah,
has
yeah,
been styled
McNamara.
in
Yeah,
smocks
yeah.
and sheath top skirts like this eye-stopping pair. Just the thing for a day's outing at Sterling Forest Gardens in New York.
God damn, bro. Good times. I loved 5. We played so much zombies. That was when I used to play both game modes. We would play a good amount of multiplayer, but for Black Ops 1, I really liked zombies because I wasn't that great at the multiplayer. But we would normally get pretty far with zombies.
Key points throughout Havana.
Yeah, this is not campaign. These are the teasers for the new Call of Duty.
Khrushchev happily receives a gift of the Cuban flag as he lines up with a solid endorsement for the home-brewed anti-Americanism of Fidel Castro, the Soviet sole Western Hemisphere ally.
As he arrives arrives back in Washington, the president hears more bad news. China has just invaded India. Is this part of a two-pronged communist assault? Now the president must weigh all the factors one final time, then make his decision, knowing that whatever he does, he risks nuclear war.
Meanwhile, the United States continues to reinforce its Cuban base at Guantanamo Bay, the naval depot that Castro wants the U.S. to give up. These Marines have been assigned the job of protecting the base against any Cuban threats that might arise during the present crisis.
Mr. President, I am submitting today a resolution to the Security Council.
I like Nixon. I thought Nixon was hilarious. Nixon had some funny ass lines, bro.
This resolution calls as an interim measure under Article 40 of the Charter for the immediate dismantling and withdrawal from Cuba of all missile and other offensive weapons.
The inauguration of Abraham Lincoln as the 16th President of the United States is reenacted in the nation's capital 100 years after the event. There's a crowd larger than the original president this day, double the 10,000 of 1861. And the bright balmy day is in marked contrast to the gloomy overcast of a century ago. Scenes familiar from history books and movies come to life at the Capitol as Mr. Lincoln arrives. He is portrayed...
The following is the letter which has just been dispatched from
I need more rounds.
I think that you and I, with our heavy responsibilities for the maintenance of peace, were aware that developments were approaching a point where events could have become unmanageable. So I welcome this message and consider it an important contribution to peace.
It urgently recommends that the United States and the Soviet Union confer promptly on measures to remove the existing threat to the security of the Western Hemisphere and the peace of the world, and to report thereon to the Security Council.
Earlier today, Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara announced that yesterday's photographic surveillance of Cuba indicated that the bases were being dismantled.
But with increased United States aid and instruction, Vietnam soldiers learned to fight back against the communist Viet Cong. Helicopters become a crucial weapon against guerrillas who strike, then disappear will-o'-the-wisp in marshes. Southeast Asia and Berlin are not the only hazard areas in the orchestrated struggle of the Cold War. There is Cuba, from which Bay of Pigs invaders hobble back when their ransom is paid.
The president visits the big missile center at Vandenberg Air Force Base. He becomes the nation's first president to see an intercontinental ballistic missile fired when an Atlas D blasts off its pad to roar down the Pacific Missile Range in a perfect launch.
All right, that's it. That's it for all the tapes. There was, it looks like they added a good amount actually. So let's see, there was 4, 8, 12. Now there's 5, 10, 15, 16. So they added 4 numbers to the to the first tape. And then there's 5, 10, 15 numbers in the third tape. Second tape has 12. Yeah. And the 77-78 tape has 8. So I'm gonna head off for the night or for the day. I don't know if I'm gonna have a video. I might just throw this Kilo video together. I'm not really sure yet, but yeah, I don't really know. But what we're gonna do is I'm going to I'm probably gonna post some stuff on like a couple things on TikTok, and then I'm also going to try and get a video out tonight. I don't know if I'm going to, but I'm gonna try my best. And yeah, so thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you guys later. We'll be live on Twitch tonight. All right.